How is everybody doing today? This is L.A.Kendrick with another tale from the vault of Would You Dare. Today we're going to talk about the haunted forest where people commit suicide. It seems to be a thing at this particular forest in Japan. So the party don't start till you walk in, and now that you're here, let's begin. Want to touch on some stuff. Again, remember, these are not my stories. These are just articles that I picked up off the internet, and I'm just covering it and going over it with you guys because, again, this is just something that we do. We just brainstorm and think about the what ifs and the macabres, and some of these stories may be sensitive to people, so make sure that you my stuff is only for 18 and up anyway, so yeah, make sure that you take everything with a grain of salt. Believe what you will believe. Again, these are just stories that I'm just putting out here because you can find them anywhere. But want to talk about it and go over this mysterious forest, okay? Like, share, comment, and subscribe. See if we can get up to 60. I wonder what 60 looks like, but I'm not trying to make any profit off of this thing. Just trying to bring stories and share stories and thoughts and ideas with you guys to spark imagination. So with that being said, all right, let's go. It's called the Okigama Forest. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Japan's infamous suicide forest is known as Okigahara Jukai. In Japanese, with Jukai meaning sea of trees. It's located in Yamanashi Prefecture in the northern foothills of Mount Fuji. As its name suggests, the forest in this area is lush and dense, making it a refreshing place to hike during the hot summer days as a trip from Tokyo. If the forest seems eerily quiet here, there was actually a geological, not supernatural, reason behind it. Over 1,000 years ago, Mount Fuji erupted and spewed lava all over the surrounding area. The forest eventually grew over the lava, but the rocks below the soil absorb sound, making the atmosphere seem quieter than it actually is. This volcanic soil also contains iron, which can cause compasses to give misreadings and interfere with cellular transmissions. Another reason not to leave the main trail. Roll one up a little bit, just in case, drown out some of the extra sound. Because of its macabre history, people sometimes report sightings of or experience with spirits or ghosts in this area. Of course, these events are reinforced by the portrayal of Okigama as a haunted place in the folklore movies and television shows. Still, if you're intrigued by the supernatural and also love the beauty of nature, you won't find another place quite like this in Japan. Then they go into the history of the suicide forest. It is said that a long time ago, families who could not feed all their children would sacrifice one of their family members to Okigahara. That person would slowly starve to death so that the rest of the family could survive. Legend has it that this person would often become Yuri, a ghost that is unable to leave this world. Yuri or Uri is Y-U-R-E-I. Although the dark reputation of Okigahara has been around for centuries, it was unfortunately revitalized by the publishing of two novels in the 1960s by two novels. One in the 1960s and another in the 1990s that glamorized this forest as a place to commit suicide. Okay, so it's spelled Okigahara. Okigahara. In the late 90s, the number of suicides that took place in this forest was so high that police started to do sweeps once or twice a year. Police do not publish the number of dead found in an attempt to draw less attention to this place as a suicide spot. Despite the horror stories, the dark history, I find this forest absolutely beautiful. The trees are tall and create a canopy that prevents the sun from heating up the forest and letting in too much sunlight. It is a silent and tranquil place, but as I've already stated, it's a dangerous place to hike, especially if you wander off the trails. Stay on the trails and always hike with at least one other person. Besides the possibility of getting lost, there are many wild animals living in the forest. I understand the attraction of this mysterious place, even though I'm not scared or fascinated by these stories. It is still a place that calls to me. I'm gonna drop down to the caves. There are around 200 caves hidden in the area around Okagara, but there are two in particular that are developed and recommended for those who love a little underground exploring. Sakio Bat Cave is located in the starting point of the hike from the south end of the forest near Sakio, Saiko, Sakio Lake. This cave will be your reference point when looking for signs if you're driving here. This is where you'll find your information point with maps and even audio guided tours you can listen to while hiking. If you're looking for bats, you may not see any. Unfortunately, the bats were nearly brought to extinction a few decades ago and are still only slowly growing back in numbers. From there, this is not my recommended, this is just what's in the article. My recommended route is to continue towards Norisawa Ice Cave. Norisawa Hayoketsu. The temperature in this cave is always very low, around 3 degrees Celsius, so be sure to bring suitable clothing. You can see pillars of ice in the 2 halls of the cave throughout most of the year. Okay. And if you want to see special plants and wildlife, then you don't need to search, since you will find it in Okagara. Okagara, no matter which trail you choose. You'll also find that even in light rain, you can easily hike the forest because the thick canopy will keep you from getting wet. Wear sturdy hiking shoes, however the trail and stairs of the canopies can be very slippery. And that's the end of that article. It's really strange. I mean, like for example here, in 2003, 150 bodies were found in the forest, exceeding the previous record of 78 in 2002. In 2010, the police recorded more than 200 people having attempted suicide in the forest, of whom 54 completed the act. Suicides are said to increase during March, the end of the fiscal year in Japan. As of 2011, the most common means of suicide in the forest were hanging or drug overdose. In recent years, local officials have stopped publicizing the numbers in an attempt to decrease Okagara's association with suicide. The rate of suicide has led officials to place a sign at the forest entry urging suicide visitors to seek help and not take their own lives. Annually, body searches have been conducted by police, volunteers, and journalists since 1970. This site popularity has been attributed to Matsusumato's 1961 novel, Naomi no means the Tower of Waves. However, the history of suicide in Okagara predates the novel's publication, and the place has been long associated with death. And it may have been practiced there in the 19th century, and the forest is reputedly haunted by the Yuri of those left to die. We already discussed what a Yuri is, or Yuri or Yuri, okay? So these kind of things happen. I think, Japan is really, really noted for this thing, and it's very, that's pretty crazy. People, Japan has a high success rate and a low tolerance for failure. So a lot of the men or people or women, just people in general, take their own lives. But if it's been going on since the 19th century, it's a long time. And it's pretty sad, but it's, what do you guys think? Would you dare want to take a trip to this forest to see if there's any factual evidence to this? Would you want to stumble? I wouldn't want to stumble upon a body, so I definitely wouldn't want that. That's pretty much all I got on this topic. Pretty interesting, huh? So, again, you guys, tell me what you think. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Again, this is the kind of work, this is the kind of stories that I write about in my books, where we tackle the worst of the worst and get stronger from doing that. So, in closing, we're at 56 now. I'd like to see if we can get to 60 by the end of the week. Didn't happen last week, but again, I'm not trying to make any money off of this. Just something to give back to you guys. All right. So remember, check your homes. Check all the dark recesses of your homes. Make sure that if you work late at night or early into the morning hours, when there's little light and little visibility, you check under your car. Be mindful of your surroundings, and you check inside of your car. Because you never know what's lurking in the dark, waiting to make you a story. And this has been L.A.Kendrick. If you're having thoughts of suicide, please seek help. You guys fill in the rest.